Knee. Hey, everybody, you are watching and listening to the We Are Rising podcast. This is your host, Andrew Benjamin, joined by a very special guest today. With us, we have the Rizin and Deep Featherweight champion, the Fighting Bull, Juntaro Ushiku. Ushiku-san, thank you very much for your time, sir. Appreciate it. Yoshiko onegaishimasu. So first off, I gotta say, how does it feel being a two promotion champion? Do you feel any extra pressure every time you go into a fight now?
福選手、まず聞きたいのが、今現在2団体のチャンピオンということで、そういった肩書きを2つ持つことによって、こう試合に向けてのプレッシャーが高くなったりとか、そういう精神的な負荷っていうものはありますか？
そうですね。逆にそのプレッシャーがあるからこそ、自分を追い込めるんで、なんかこの環境にすごく僕は感謝してます。
So I feel that extra pressure gives me that additional boost to train harder and to force me to become the better fighter. So I'm actually very much enjoying and appreciating this additional pressure.
Gotcha. So one of the things I've noticed the way that your fighting style and the way that you just are as a fighter is that even when the cards are down, you're always coming forward and you've been able to get wins when seemingly from the hands of defeat. I want to know do you train like that normally, or is it just like, how do you tell me about how you have this spirit to always keep coming forward even when you might be on a losing side of a fight?
牛久選手の試合をこういろいろと見ていて思うのが、こう前半とかスコアカードで劣勢な状況からでも牛久選手ってやっぱり最後まで前に出続けて、で勝ち切ることができる、そういうスタイルだなというふうに思っていて、その劣勢な状況から常に前に行くためのその心構えというか、普段からどういう練習をされているのか、どういうふうにすればそういう劣勢な状況の中でも最後までこうアグレッシブに攻めて、勝ちにいけることができるのか、どういうところからその心構えが生まれているのかをちょっと聞かせてください。
そうですね。僕結構朝練で、すごく走り込みをやるんですけど、やっぱりこう多分それが僕の中ではその精神力の強くなる秘訣の一つだと思ってます。やっぱり走り込みってやっぱりこうみんな嫌じゃないですか。でそういう嫌なトレーニングを最後までしっかりやりきる。これが僕の中では本当にこう最後までやり通す力になっているのだと思います。
So I think the reason why I have that mentality is because I run every morning. In my morning sessions, I run a lot. And everybody hates running. Everybody hates pushing themselves in the run training. And I think because I do that every day and I force myself to finish everything I planned for in the morning is part of why it gives me that strong mentality to finish strong. Because it sucks, right? Running practice sucks. But for me to push through that every day is something that gives me that strong mentality until the end.
Gotcha. So now with this rematch coming up, defending your title for the Rizin title for the first time, Yutaka Saito, who you beat the first time to get the title. I'm curious to know, how do you feel about rematching him being your first title defense?
今回は斉藤選手のリマッチになるんですけれども、初防衛戦にして、その相手が、タイトルを奪った斉藤選手なんですけれども、今回のリマッチについて、そしてまたその初防衛戦で斉藤選手とやるっていうことに関してどのように思われますか？
そうですね。またこのタイミングで斉藤選手とやれることを本当に光栄に思いますね。で、斉藤選手もすごく強い選手なんで、僕もすごく燃えてます。
I'm very honored to be able to fight Saito for my first title defense at this timing. And he's a very legitimate and strong fighter, so I'm that makes it even better.
So do you feel for the first fight, I think a lot of people were underestimating you, considering you the underdog. How do you feel yourself? Do you feel that that's the same attitude people are having with you in this rematch, or is it the opposite?
一番最初の試合では、牛久選手の方がこう下馬評が低かったというふうに思うんですけれども、今回の試合、リマッチが決まってそれに向けてこういろいろと動いている中で、ご自身の中、そして周りの反応は今どんな感じですか？ 勝敗の行方というか。
まあそうですね。まあ僕の、多分周りの評価もまだこう、たまたまっていうような感じで捉えてる方が多くて、まあそんなにこう、勝ったからって、こう、評価が上がったとはそんなに感じてないですね。なんで本当にこう、次の試合が僕の中では本当にすごく大事な一戦になります。
So I still think that a lot of people think I got lucky in my first fight. And I think that hasn't changed. So this rematch is a very important fight for me to prove that, I really deserve that win and I deserve this belt.
I'm curious to know if you saw Saito's his rematch against Asakura Mikuru and what you thought of how Saito fought in that fight.
朝倉選手と斉藤選手の2戦目、大晦日行われたんですが、あれ見て、斉藤選手のパフォーマンスについてどう思われましたか？
そうですね。まあやっぱりこう、万全な状態で、まあ試合をしてなかったんじゃないかなってちょっと僕は感じましたね。はい。
So from that fight, I thought that he was fighting. He went into that fight not 100%. There's definitely something wrong with him, and that's what I felt throughout his performance.
And so for this rematch, I'm curious to know have you trained differently than the first time you're fighting Saito, or are you training basically the same that you did for that first fight?
今回のリマッチに関して、初戦で斉藤選手に向けたファイトキャンプの練習と、今回の、試合に向けた、斉藤選手との試合に向けたファイトキャンプで何か、変えたものってありますか？それとも同じような感じで、トレーニングをしてきてますか？
そうですね。大きくは変えてはいないんですけど、やっぱりこう、前回肌を合わせてちょっと僕も感じることがあって、やっぱりその感じたことを、要は練習でも活かしているというか、まあ、そうですね。まだ基本的な練習内容は変わってないですね。はい。
Yeah, maybe some nothing major, just some minor adjustments based off of what I felt from facing him and feeling out his strengths, whatnot. But the basic training I do on a regular basis has not changed. But I've adjusted just slightly based off of the experience I had with him last time.
Okay, I understand. I understand. And so yeah, with the 145, the featherweight division is very much stacked now in Rizin. It's probably going to even get more stacked now that foreigners are coming into play as well. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what you think about the overall featherweight division. And yeah, just give me your thoughts on what you think about just the talent and the fighters that are that are competitors in your division.
今のライジンのフェザー級ってものすごいタレントが揃っていて、役者が揃っていて、でそれで、今度外国人選手が入ってくるっていうことになったら、さらに、役者が増えると思うんですけれども、それに関してこう今のライジンのフェザー級に対して牛久選手は今どのように思われてますか？
そうですね。やっぱりこう、すごく強い選手が多くて、僕もすごく、思いますね。ただ、もう僕は次の試合決まってるんで、本当にこう、斉藤選手のこと以外は何も考えてないですね。はい。
Yes, there's definitely a lot of good fighters, top fighters joining the Rizin featherweight division. So it's very motivating and it's very exciting. But for now, I have my fight lined up. I know who I'm fighting. So that's what I'm focused on at the moment.
I'm curious to also know as well, after you won the title, after you did beat Saito last year, I'm curious to know, I don't know, did you get more social media followers? Did people recognize you on the street? Were there more people sign up to K Clan? Yeah, I'm curious to hear if any residual fame happened from you winning the title.
ちょっと興味あるんで聞きますけれども、牛久選手がライジンのチャンピオンになってから、何か SNS のフォロワーが増えたりとか、街中で声かけられるようになったりとか、K クランの、入会者が増えたとか、なんか目に見えて何か感じた変化っていうものはありましたか？
それはやっぱり、ありましたね。入会も、キッズとかの入会もちょっと増えたり、声かけていただけることも多くて、やっぱりこう、もちろんフォロワー数も増えて、僕の中では、すごくやっぱり雷神っていう舞台はすごいなって感じてますね。 はい。
Yeah, I definitely do feel that. Yeah, definitely do feel the changes. Like, I think we had a lot more signups for the children's program at the gym. People do stop and try to talk to me outside when I'm walking around. Obviously, the social media numbers have increased. So yeah, I definitely feel the branding value and the exposure of Ryzen.
I'm also curious to know as well. So yeah, you have the fight Saito, you win, you beat him. I'm curious to know, do you feel that this fight can get you? I don't want to use the term respect, but it can get people to change their idea that that the first fight was a fluke, or that the first fight what was won the way that it was, and that people can accept you as somebody who is a legitimate top contender fighter.
まあ、今回の試合で、まあ、今まで牛久選手の、まあ、前回の試合がラッキーだったりとか、まあ、そのまだ実力が認めてられてないことに対して、今回の試合でその自分の実力をみんなに証明することができると思いますか？
はい、思います。だからすごく僕も楽しみにしてますね。はい。
Yeah, I absolutely think that I can prove my worth and I can prove my abilities. So I'm very much excited and looking forward to making that happen.
One of the things I'm curious to know about as well, I was looking through your social media. You seem to be very much into sweets or pastries. Is that correct?
牛久選手の SNS を見ててすごく気になったんですけども、
はい、
牛久選手は甘いものだったりスイーツが大好きなんですか？
いやーもうめちゃくちゃ大好きですね。いや今もう想像するだけで笑顔が出ちゃいますね。はい。
Yes, I absolutely love sweets and pastries. Just thinking about it puts a smile on my face right now.
I don't know how much weight you cut, but is that one of the things you have to give up whenever you're in a fight camp?
牛久選手がまあ体重どれだけ落とすのかっていうのはちょっと私には分からないのですが、まあ当然スイーツはその試合が決まった時から控えなければいけないものの一つになりますか？
はい、もちろんそうですね。はい。
まあ、
試合は食べれるんで。はい。
Of course, but obviously after the fight, I can enjoy them, so it makes it that much better.
What is your favorite pastry? What is like the one pastry that like if somebody was coming to Japan, you would tell them that you must have this before you leave?
牛久選手が一番好きなスイーツって何ですか？例えば外国人が日本に来たら、これ食べないと日本から帰れないよと。牛久選手がおすすめするスイーツは何でしょう？
外国人の方に僕がおすすめするっていう形ですよね。
まあ外国人でも、はい、ご自身が絶対おすすめすると。
僕はどら焼きをぜひ外国人の方は食べてほしいなと思いますね。浅草にある亀十のどら焼きとか、あとうさぎ屋、上野にあるうさぎ屋のどら焼きとかですね。はい。
So if I were to recommend some pastry, a Japanese pastry to international travelers, I definitely want them to try out a pastry called dorayaki. There's some famous, it's a Japanese sweet with sweet beans and whatnot, but there are several places that make extremely good dorayakis. So if I were to recommend international travelers, please try out some dorayaki.
Curious to know as well, do you make your own pastries or you just go out and buy them?
牛久選手はご自身でスイーツを作ったりしますか？それとももう食べる専門ですか？
たまに作ったりはするんですけど、まあ基本はやっぱり買って食べるっていう、それを買うっていう、までもすごく買うことによって、それも楽しみの一つなんで、だから結構外で買ったりもしますね。
はい。I do make my own occasionally, but part of the fun is actually going out and purchasing the sweets myself. The buying process is part of the fun. So most of the times I go out and buy my own pastries and sweets.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that. I'm also curious to know as well, as somebody you fought, in Deep, which mostly uses a cage, but you've also fought in a ring and Rizin. I'm curious to know, as a fighter, what do you prefer, the cage or the ring?
牛久選手はまあディープでケージでメインでやられていて、ライジンではリングを使われているんですが、まあ、ファイターとして、どっちのプラットフォームの方がやりやすいですか？
やっぱり試合経験も僕、金網の方が多いんで、やっぱり慣れてるのは金網の方が僕は慣れてるっすよね。はい。
Yeah, to answer that question, like I've fought most of my career in the cage. So I would have to say that I'm used to fighting in the cage more.
Are there any aspects about fighting in a ring that you enjoy more or less? I'm curious. Yeah, is there anything about the ring that you enjoy or more or less?
じゃあ、そのリングで戦うことにおいて、いい部分、もしくは良くない部分っていうのは、細かい部分あったりしますか？
そうですね。やっぱりこう、ロープの間からやっぱり体が出ちゃうと、一回ストップでまた、中に戻されるじゃないですか。だから、その戻った時に若干ちょっと、要は、ポジションとかも変わるんで、そういう動きが一回止まってしまうっていう部分では、やっぱりこう、金網の方がいい部分。はい。
So yeah, like I don't really appreciate the aspect where once your body goes out of the ropes, they stop the fight and restart in the same position. But a lot of times it's not the same position. Like it looks like the same position, but just really small detailed parts are not the same. So that itself just causes some inconveniences in the fight. So in that aspect, I think the cage doesn't stop and it doesn't meddle with the fight flow.
Oh, gotcha. I understand. Actually, I'm curious though, going back to your win over Saito, do you remember how you celebrated when after you won the Rizin Featherweight title?
斉藤選手に勝ってライジンのチャンピオンになった時、どのようにして祝いましたか？覚えていますか？
どのように。結構、自分で何かご褒美を買うとかはないんですけど、結構、周りの方がすごく、喜んで、要は祝勝会とか開いてくれたり、周りの方がすごく喜んでくれましたね。はい。それの姿が僕はすごく嬉しかったですね。自分で何かご褒美買ったとかはないです。
So I didn't really celebrate anything on my own, or I didn't buy something for myself as a treat or anything. But the people around me were very happy and they were very excited about the win. They held some celebration parties and they did a lot for me. And for me, watching them enjoying the moment was very enjoyable to me.
Gotcha. I'm also your Twitter handle. I'm curious to know where does the name Kini Kun come from? Is there a backstory behind that Twitter handle name?
牛久選手のツイッターのハンドルネームがキニ君ってなってると思うんですが、
はい、
その理由とそのいきさつ、そのハンドルネームになっていきさつをちょっと教えていただきたいんですが。
そうですね。やっぱりこう、僕の中で、やっぱり筋肉っていう、僕の、なんていうんですかね、長所も、筋肉なんで、そこを最大限に生かすために、筋肉という名前をつけましたね。はい。
So basically, 筋肉 means muscle in Japanese. So muscle is definitely part of my strengths, and it's always a motivating word. So I decided to utilize that word to the fullest and use it and use it as a part of my handle name.
Do you happen to be also a mayor of a fan of Kiniku Man? Are you a fan of him?
筋肉マンの作品の方のファンでもありますか？
ファンですね。はい。
Yes, yes, I'm a fan.
見てないですけど、ファンです。はい。
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but yes, I know it and I like it.
Okay, gotcha. Also, going back to your nickname, the Fighting Bull. I'm curious to know when did you get that? When did you get that nickname given to you or recommended that that's your nickname?
牛久選手のニックネーム、ファイティングブルっていうものがあるんですけれども、
はい
そのリングネームというか、そのニックネームのついたいきさつと、そのいつぐらいについたのかっていうのを説明していただいてよろしいですか。
確か5年前ぐらいですかね。僕、もともとパンクラスっていう団体で試合をしてたんですけど、そのパンクラスの時に、そのリングネームで、やっぱ牛久っていう名字なんで、牛久が戦うっていうことで、闘牛っていうあだ名がついたんですよ。で、その闘牛を、要は、英語にするとファイティングブルだったんで、それでファイティングブルにしました。
Yeah, so I got the nickname probably about 5 years ago when I was fighting in Pancrase. So my family name Ushiku. Ushi means bull or cow or bull. So their marketing team or whatnot, they gave me the nickname of the fighting bull, and literally translated into bullfighting in Japanese. So that's how I got my nickname.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would also like to know. So, Rizin 35 is going to be a very big card for Rizin. It's going to have a lot of foreigners on it. It's going to, you're one of you're going to be one of the title matches on the show. It's a very stacked card. There probably will be some new fans tuning in, international fans. I'm curious to know, just like, what can you tell them to look forward to in your fight?
牛久選手、ライジン35で、いろいろと外国人選手とかが入ってきて、素晴らしい注目されるような試合になると思うんですが、
はい。
海外のファンに向けてどういったものを見てほしいか言っていただいてもよろしいですか。
そうですね。僕も、次の試合、また前回と違った展開になると思うので、そこの、展開っていうか、僕のその成長した姿を、皆さんにアピールできたらなと思います。なんで、楽しみにしていてください。
So I think I'll be able to show the greatest parts of my fight style. And, I really want to prove that my last performance was not a fluke. So I hope you get to see my true abilities and enjoy my fighting style and the fight itself.
And before you go, I want to give you an opportunity if you want to plug your sponsors, team, social media, or YouTube channel as well. Can't forget that. Yeah, the floor is yours.
牛久選手、最後に行く前に海外のファンだったり、
はい、
何か最後に伝えたいメッセージがあれば、ぜひご自由に何かおっしゃってください。
そうですね。しっかりと僕の強さを証明するんで、皆さん応援よろしくお願いします。今日はありがとうございます。
So, I will go in there and definitely prove my strength, my worth. So please trust in me and watch my fight and enjoy the show. I appreciate your support. Thank you.
And one last comment I want to get is just if you have anything Saito, you have any comments to or about Saito Yutaka as well. I want to give you an opportunity to say whatever you want to or about him.
あとは斉藤選手に向けた、コメントを一ついただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
本当に斉藤選手とできることをすごく光栄に思います。その斉藤選手に恥じぬよう僕も全力でぶつかりに行きますのでよろしくお願いします。
So, the message to Saito, I'm very honored to be able to face such a fighter as yourself. I am not going to hold back and I'm going to give you everything I have. So I hope you do the same and let's put on a fun fight. Let's do this.
Great. And you can see Juntaro Ushiku defend the Rizin Featherweight title at Rizin 35, which will be this Sunday for us in America on the East Coast at midnight. You can watch on live now with English commentary. And yes, the day before, make sure to also check out Rizin Trigger Third. And with that being said, Ushiku-san, really appreciate your time. Really looking forward to your fight. And yes, I'm really looking forward to see if you come out the winner, you know what? It'll be a great way to show people that it wasn't a fluke the first time.
牛久選手、本当に今日お時間いただいてありがとうございました。本当に牛久選手のおっしゃるように、最初の試合がラッキーではなかった実力で 取れたというものをまた再び証明するのを楽しみにしていますので、ぜひとも試合頑張っていただきたいと思います。今日はありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Ganbari desu.
Hey, Andrew, take